Here's a question for you. Have you ever received a communication from a deceased loved one? What did you experience? Another favorite means of communicating is telepathy. Clients often tell me that they have thoughts that they know are not theirs, and that these thoughts started after the bereavement, and they are concerned about going out of their minds from grief. Once they accept that their loved ones are still around, they are more willing to be aware of these foreign thoughts. They understand that the foreign thoughts have nothing to do with them becoming schizophrenic, and they very quickly understand that they simply need to listen to these thoughts. This brings huge relief, not only for the living, but also for the dead who want to communicate. However, once they are happy that their loved ones are okay and coping, they don't hang around, because they have new lives to live and they want to get on with more interesting things. When that's the case, they may or may not pop into a reading. I had a fascinating experience with a client who was doing a family tree for her family and couldn't find her great-grandmother's date and place of birth. She had exhausted all avenues and then approached me. I was able to give her an indication of more or less when and where her great-grandmother was born. The reason for the vagueness was that her great-grandmother's parents were merchants who lived on the road over 150 years ago. The great-grandmother was born, and her parents took their merry time getting the birth recorded when they reached the town of the magistrate again. Of course, the birth date was approximate, but I was able to convey enough information to the client to follow new avenues of research into her family tree. In this instance, the great-grandmother had no earthly connection with the great-granddaughter, but she was willing to provide the information through me. If you ever feel the need to consult a medium, ensure that you don't give any information, even if you're asked for confirmation. That is the test for true mediumship. Here's a question for you. What is your experience of psychics? What does a psychic do and why? What the psychic does is not much different from what a medium does, except that the psychic doesn't focus on proving life after death, or proving anything else for that matter. In my experience, a psychic reading focuses on life rather than on death. After all, we have incarnated so that we can have experiences in this world. We then learn our wisdom from these experiences. And these moments of wisdom raise our physical and spiritual vibration, not only in this world, but also in the other world. However, I want to also bring in another part of the explanation of what a psychic does. You understand by now that you are consciousness inhabiting a physical body. You are also a stream of consciousness, or maybe a lake of consciousness, which takes away the idea that consciousness is linear, because it's not. In consciousness, there is no past, present, or future. Consciousness just is. We add time and timelines into the equation so that we can understand the dimension that we live in. When I do a psychic reading, I see these streams of consciousness crossing each other and causing humps or parcels of information. A stack of information is stored in each one of these crossings. And when I do a psychic reading, I open this parcel and put the contents into words. The result is that I can tell you where you are in your life, why you are there, and what your options are for the future. Let me explain a bit further. Imagine you sit on an elevated chair. Now imagine your past, present, and future experiences are all packed into bags and arranged around this chair, but in no specific sequence. You have a mixture of past, present, and future experiences around you. When I do the psychic reading, I pick the bags that are flashing like neon lights, and I open them. Then I turn the contents of each bag into a picture, smell, sense of touch, or whatever else the message requires of me. The information can come from your past, and at this point in your life, things come to fruition, or you need to deal with them. The information can come from the present because you are in a phase within a cycle that you need to understand. Or you need to know that someone understands where you are right now and it's okay to be where you are. Or that there is a way forward and out of your current situation. The information can also come from the future because we all create our own futures. When you become aware of your future options, you simply hear from me what you are already creating. You remain in charge and you can change your choices and your creation. That's why a psychic reading can tell you what your destiny is. Or it can tell you what you are creating or where you are heading when you have options to choose from.